Hello, everybody, and welcome to Detail Podcast number 2. I'm your host, George Evans, and today joining me are...
James Hellman.
And Jason Reed.
So we're going to discuss a little bit, we're going to carry on with the whole detail theme. We've been quite busy over the past 2 weeks. We've done a lot. Games coming on well, don't you think, guys?
Yep.
Yes.
It's looking far, far prettier. And hopefully sounding good soon too.
Well, hopefully, but that's your department.
I need to go through it with James. And
Yes, well, as you've seen by our Facebook post, Rob drew over the arena, and the rest of the level is coming along just as nicely.
Yeah, so it's coming on really well. And we've been quite busy with our Facebook recently. We're going to post a lot more. One of the things that we're going to be posting quite recent, or one of the first thing that went out a couple of days ago was what each member does in detail, because that's something that we thought would be really, really good that everyone knew. Well, what the hell each of us does, basically. So we started with Rob, and then I don't know who will be next, but I'm sure you'll find out. Another thing that we've been discussing is changing the detail logo on the page. We weren't quite sure about this. What do you guys think?
well, I just feel like we should keep it standard to what it should be, like the main front of the business. Like, it shouldn't keep fluctuating and changing.
So one of the things that what we're talking about at the moment is for our profile picture, we've got our main logo, and our artists decided to throw a nice little tinge on it and keep the logo, but add some colour to it, add some different shades to resemble more VOT, kind of our game project. And there was a couple of us that were sort of unsure about it.
Yep.
Introducing it.
I was just going to say that I know that our logo's missing something. I just can't quite put my finger on what it is.
It's just one of those things that we need more time and resources to
I mean, don't get me wrong.
dedicate.
I like it as it is. It just needs something more.
See, my thinking was a little pictogram or something like that. Like Twitter has the Twitter bird, Facebook's got the F.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what
Definitely.
we need. I know we shouldn't be too worried about it right now, but I think, as Jay said, in the future, it's something that we could look
Fun
at.
with the sound, by the way.
And it's it's gonna be a fucking nightmare.
What, Migo?
No, just the
Smashing
chopping
it
this
up.
shit up. What was I saying?
Well, we got to keep you busy, Jay.
Yeah, great. I'll have it to you in 2 months. But yeah, I was just saying that kind of thing needs a lot of thought put into it. Like, we shouldn't just rush something so that it looks pretty and that's it. Like,
yeah,
it needs
that's
to
what I'm
have a
saying.
whole
I agree.
meaning behind it that relates
we've
to us.
tried
as a
artists, didn't go as we planned, and this current one is from an actual illustrator,
project.
graphic designer,
You'll get there.
and he says he's willing to iterate on it if we want anything more. I mean, what we've got is pretty much what's his first draft.
Yeah.
So, and I really like the type that he's used. It's just like you said, I suppose this might be where we could release the artist on it again to try and come up with some little pictorial thing to go along with it.
But yeah, as you said in the group chat the other day, when they decided that they were going to, or when they did the other detail logo, it's like the page is not specifically VOT,
No,
so it shouldn't specifically warrant VOT. But the reason that people were saying that is because everything that we're posting on the detail at the moment, on the detail Facebook, on the detail anything, is VOT, because
Exactly.
we've not got any other content coming up.
that is
So-
the problem. I mean, I agree. Having a personalised logo to VOT would be quite good to have eventually.
But that's something you put on the VOT page, not...
Yeah, exactly.
Because if and when VOT takes off, that it will probably get its own page if
Yeah.
we give it that much attention after it's been released.
But at the moment, if we were to split that off, it
We'd
would
have
be a
nothing.
completely sorry.
We'd have the podcast and that's it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But VOT would also be a separate entity
Yeah.
as opposed to detail. Whereas actually, detail is the entity. This is a category, or
Yeah.
not a subcategory, but a subsection.
Yeah.
Not a subsection.
It's just a shame that people aren't working or doesn't seem to be wanting to put more time into Sayri. Sorry. How do you say it, Jason?
Serious.
Yeah.
Because at the moment it's literally just me that's putting effort
Yeah.
into Sayri.
It's like it's difficult because I think most people want to. It's just
I don't-
so hard to find the time.
A lot of it is time, but we're not going to get anywhere 9 till 5. That's the problem. That's the thing why we've just done a 9 till 5 days work, and yet we're coming back, carrying on with work technically, and
Yeah.
not worrying. The thing is, everything about what we're doing now, the podcast, the day in the life of
Yeah.
detail, going off and filming, that's supposed to be fun. And I think we do have a lot of fun while doing it. We just, there's only so much 3 people can do. And it's, I know things are going to change, especially when, dissertations and stuff are out,
Yeah.
which is, it's a couple of weeks from now.
I think next semester and beyond, I believe people have a bit more time, because over the summer the problem was that people were apart and people didn't have that unified goal, that unified area to work in, whereas now they do. But the new problem has come up of time, whereas we had a lot of time in summer, but we don't have time now, or people don't either have the time or don't want to put the time in. And then next semester, hopefully, when everyone's long essays and dissertations are out the way, the bigger projects, it'll be hopefully easier to find the time. And then once people start leaving uni and we get the office, then people will make the time, because then it's up to us exactly what's happening. So I mean,
You've got to make the time to pay the bills.
if we haven't got the time, then it's only our own fault for not making the time.
Yeah, but I can kind of see things as soon as we get to our own company. A lot of us will turn around and say, "Yeah, I want to carry on. I want to, work on this from 9 till 5, and then let's record a podcast. Let's do a drunk gaming. Let's do let's go out and film or something." But I can see a lot of things also trailing off, and people saying, "Right, well, I'm hired from 9 till 5. I will do 9 to 5 because I want to get out and do my own thing," which is fair enough. It's completely fair enough. But if we want this company to grow, we've got to put that time in. We've got to put that effort in. It's not going to happen in the 9 till 5.
I think when the university support sort of drops off and all the responsibilities on them, and they don't have the stresses of all the other university stuff, but now I've got the stress of, crap, if I don't do this, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Then I think that might be a good incentive for everyone to go that step further. And we've got our own freaking office. I mean, that'll be
I'm looking forward to that.
awesome. Just being there, just being in that room and thinking, this is ours.
This is
the
my
more
baby.
the more we
It's where I'm
work,
gonna live.
the
Yeah.
more we work, the more we can have this.
Or as I said,
So why not work?
as I said, I'm going to have a sofa in there, and that's going to be my bed. My desk is going to be. You'll be like, "George, you're in early today," and then you'll be like, "Oh, are you staying late today again, George?" I'll be like, "Yeah, staying late, of course. I'll be in early tomorrow."
I think we'll notice what's happening as soon as our lift doesn't turn up.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's what I'll have to do. I'll have to sleep, come and pick you up, and then drive back and be like, "Oh, well, I've just popped round from my house."
So
But no, it is. A lot of it is time, but the problem is the incentive shouldn't be, if we don't do it, we're screwed. The incentive should be, I want to do it because it's going to benefit me.
Yeah, the thing is, like, the more effort we put in now, the easier we can have it later.
'Cause that's the thing is,
But-
as soon as we leave university, it's not going to be easy. If we've got to go out and get 9 to 5 jobs, for 2
that'll be
days.
even harder.
Exactly. So how many people are going to turn around and say, "Well, that's paying money, that's not"?
That's the thing. For me anyway, pressure tends to work better than passion for me when working. So, but I put the time in if I have to, and I put the time in just because I want this to work anyway.
Exactly.
But at the same time, because I want this to work, I have to put the time in. So
Yeah.
that's the pressure in itself. So I work.
But stress can. I know this is probably going to be quite contradictory, but stress in itself can be good. You know, I wouldn't say stress is good, but it can be used in a
There's
constructive manner.
definitely a good stress and bad stress. Definitely. Like I've experienced both types when I was working back in Spa. The bad stress is when you are about to break down, you don't know what you're going to do, and you're just like, I'm never going back. The good stress is being under a time constraint and thinking, right, we're going to get this fucking done.
Because that's what we're going to have is a lot. You know, this edit, I'm still working on it. It's 12 o'clock and it's going out at 4 tomorrow. You know, and I've only just started in the edit or something like that. That's going to be stressful. But you're still going to be there like, I can do this, I can get this done. You know, I want this content to be fantastic. Because one of the things that will probably happen is if we've got 2 weeks to do a production or something like that, it will take us 2 weeks until release, and it will be ready just for release. If that same production was to take us 2 months, it's going to take us 2 months up until that point, 10 minutes before release. Like, the effort will be put in, and it will, you know, regardless of the time, it will be up to that last minute to get it as best as we can.
Working up to the deadline, that is pretty much life. You know,
This will be not because we've got that long, so we say, hey, you know, day one has been given to us. We're not going to sit there and think, oh, I've got months to do this, or weeks, or however. It's literally going to be like, the day it's handed to you, you're going to be like, right, let's get into it. And you get into it for the whole time. And then, you know, it's that passion that's driving
I think that's
it.
kind of a practice thing as well that you probably learn, like, after, like, with me after university. It's just like, after the first couple of years of just leaving things to the end, now I'm trying to do everything in advance.
Yeah.
Which isn't working out that well for me, but I'm trying.
You'll get there, you'll get there.
me neither.
But I wish I had something that was, like, earlier in the production pipeline to do.
Yeah, because
I'm right at the end. I'm
you're
like, well,
very-
the one is always buzzing
Well,
to go.
I don't know. It's where sound's concerned. It's a case of once we got a when you're in like concepting and the prototype stage, you can always think of, okay, what kind of style would we have? So you can think, okay, what kind of music would I have?
Yeah.
And then you can start coming up with music to help the prototyping along, you know. And then, because I know you've had your dissertation, but having you from the very beginning would have been amazing, to the point where we would have had most of the sounds in the probably all the sounds in the first level by now, and I think the level would feel so alive at this point.
Yeah. And it
But-
and it goes, a lot of it goes off of being, as we've been told before, being the T-shape, where, you know, you're really good at this one thing, and, you know, you're good at this thing, which means that in that instance, yes, your primary focus is sound, but, you know, for the first couple of weeks or something, if you can get in Engine and start blocking out with the designer or something like that, one, you're going to get a feel for that level, so you're going to know, right, you know, or there's boulders here, so I need to think about boulder sound, or there's a waterfall here, I need to think about waterfall sound, and things like that.
Oh, yeah, I would have been doing that stuff if I had the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, in my own personal time and stuff, I can't, like,
They
Yeah.
don't
help
call
you
it
guys in the studio.
they don't call it a skill tree for no reason.
But I also think that when we are in our own production studio and all that, it's also going to be a case of people are going to be jumping around from project to project. Like, it's not going to be a common, for one day you're going to be working on a game, the next day you're going to be working on an animation, the following thing you're, you know, halfway across the country on camera or something like that. That's not going to be unheard of. Is probably, for a lot of us, that's going to be commonplace, which I don't think is a bad thing. Yes, it's nice to get into the flow of things, you know, so for a week you're working on VOT or something like that, and so you get into that flow, especially if you're a programmer or something like that requires a lot of thought power and brain processing. But it is nice to have that break and go off. And
Well, the way I see it is that, looking at the bigger picture, if we put in the work now, if we make sure that we're out of place now, down the line we can take that step back and then decide, okay, now I want to work on this for 5 months, because with the company being at the stage where you don't need to be doing that many things.
Yeah.
Because you've got lackeys to do that many things.
Which is very much kind of why I'm not a big fan of going to a publisher or something like that, is we especially want that freedom to turn around and say, right, I want to work on this project today, or I want to work on that project today. Especially with investors, it's going to be a case of, you'll be working on that project, and you'll be working on that project until it's done. Which is not what we want.
We want to do our own thing.
Yeah. Speaking of Sayori, me and James, we went and filmed Kaz the other day, our first voice actor for Sayori, which was really, really interesting, really good fun. What do you think about it, James?
Yeah. No, it was an experience, because it was the first time that we've done voice recording, and I think Kaz was more nervous than I've ever seen someone ever being nervous speaking into a microphone. But
that's the problem.
I think she did really well. It was amusing, to say the least, that she's a very heavily Welsh person, and yet when she was speaking into the microphone, I kept having to ask her to put more Welsh accent into her speaking, because she went to English.
I think she really enjoyed it though. Like she was excited to be there. She was nervous to be in front of the microphone, but she was very, very sort of bubbly and
it's one of those things where you kind of need to keep doing it. So like that'll probably be good to work off of, but for the actual final thing, it'll probably take another couple trips and couple recordings to get the perfect one.
She did say that if we wanted to do it again, she'd be more than happy to come along and do the recording again. And I think next time we do it, we could take more equipment with us.
Yes.
And get a better quality sound recording.
Quality.
And an audio engineer. Maybe.
Yes, that would be handy.
That would be quite handy. Send the two directors can
direct.
Can actually do the job.
Because Jason wasn't able to join us, so I had to do all the sound equipment and sound editing and messing about on the computers.
Direct on my own.
So I got some late night messages of equipment not working, which was nice.
Message at 12 o'clock saying, Jason, it's coming up with this. What do I do? Jason, how do I plug it in?
Having never looked at that software at all, had to guess at how to fix it.
Yeah, I managed it in the end. So it was a case of, whereas normally the voice actor would have the headphones, I had the headphones so that I could make sure that everything was running smoothly, and occasionally the headphones dropped out, so I needed to know that it dropped out in order to turn around and say, Kaz, stop talking. It's messed about.
Yeah, I think that'll be quite useful next time for Kaz to have the headphones as well.
But ideally, what I'd like is, so she has a set of, I don't know how possible this is, but she has a set of headphones, and then the audio tech would have a set of headphones.
Well, when Jason's I go and I've got my equipment, I can do it.
But no, all in all, it went really well. I'm actually looking forward to getting in front of the microphone and starting voice acting.
Yeah.
Preferably when I don't have a cold. But
yeah, so after Christmas, when I'm working full-time with you guys, we'll probably do maybe a couple people once a week. Just starting to get people used to it.
See, that's something that I was saying is, spoiler alert, my character doesn't speak in the first episode. Which is something that I didn't realise until I think it was when we were back in Wales and recording, and I was like, my character, the main character, doesn't actually have any speaking parts in episode 1. I mean, it makes a cameo, basically, but...
We wrote the script, what was it, 4 months ago? Maybe more?
No, it was longer than that. It was that
last
script...
September. Christ.
Oh, bloody hell. Yes, that's over 4 months. That's over a year ago.
I lose track of time.
I know, it really scared me today, when I look up, when you keep seeing all the Christmas adverts and everything coming up.
Don't.
And I was like, oh my God, it's ages away until Christmas. I look at the calendar, 25th, and I'm thinking, bloody hell, a couple of days, and Penryn's going to have its Christmas lights turning on ceremony, whatever that is. I'm thinking, in a couple more weeks, we've also got 2 weeks until we break up from uni, and then we are literally halfway through our third year, or mine and Jason's third year. James is halfway through his second year.
Yeah.
That is terrifying, because when you think about how much time we've actually spent working on the game,
in 4 months, you will be on your own.
5.
with a team of 8.
Still bloody terrifying.
It's
Look
not.
after 8 people.
Well, that's the thing.
And you will financially support yourselves. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
That is funny that a lot of people leave university and they are on their own. I mean, they have their families, but well, most people have their families, but they tend to be on their own. They've got to go out and get a job. But it's quite nice that because of how we've done things, it will be a case of I'm on my own with 7 other people.
Yeah, you're
So,
all in the same boat
technically,
as,
I'm not
as
on
me.
my own.
If this boat goes down, you're all coming with me. But yeah, I think we're very lucky, or not necessarily lucky. It's like we're just planned incredibly well.
Hopefully.
As long as everything goes according
as far
to
as
plan.
we think.
But I think we were pretty clever to organise all this.
Yeah.
Especially, a lot of this has come together in the past year.
Yeah.
Rather than, although detail has been a long-going thing, is the actual effect and what people are seeing of detail. That's come together. Well, what people are seeing of detail. That's come across in the past couple of months, 3 months since we launched.
It was about a year ago that I came on.
Bloody hell. That's scary.
Still proud of that theme. Can't wait to get it out there.
I know. I very occasionally when I'm like, what should I do? I quite fancy working on Sayori. I will listen to that theme tune and then be like, right, crack my knuckles and start working, because it does. It really gets me into it. I really, really, really want to get on with it.
My problem is I'm struggling with the different musical style a bit.
Yeah.
With variables time.
Well, I'm sure you're capable of
No,
doing
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's just it's not what I'm used to. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more like learning involved with the process,
I bet it's fun though.
Yeah.
and I got to pay for a lot of instruments.
It'll
They're all
be-
different to the instruments I have.
It'll all be covered eventually with company expenses.
Well, yeah. Ideally, as
Especially with
if
money.
everything was to go absolutely amazing, as soon as we come out of university, we buy all of the sound samples and things for you, which means that we can have nice and pretty things for us.
I
So
can
it
pay
works.
for, like,
It works two
a few
ways.
months' rent.
Oh. I know. I'm looking forward to standing on our own 2 feet,
Yeah.
or our 16 with all 8 of us.
Yes.
Right, so we're gonna call it there. Don't forget that the Media Podcast will be released fortnightly on Tuesdays, and the following Tuesday will be the Detail Entertainment Podcast. We are thinking of changing the name of that, but for now it shall remain the Detail Entertainment Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
Bye.
We've been Detail. Goodbye.
What was that?
This is my favourite podcast on the Citadel. All right, so I'll cut this up. You won't hear this, but fuck me, right?
Good luck, Jay.